The number started at 9 a.m. 3.14159265358979. He kept going. By noon, he had recited thousands of digits without stopping, without notes, without hesitation. By evening, he had passed 80,000. By midnight, he was still going. At 1:28 in the morning, 16 hours and 28 minutes after he began, he stopped. He had just recited 100,000 digits of pi entirely from memory. Every 5 minutes or so, he had taken a short break. He ate rice balls to keep his energy up. He used the bathroom, and every single one of those moments was filmed on camera because the people watching him needed to be absolutely certain he wasn't cheating. His name is Akira Haraguchi. He was 60 years old. He was a psychiatric counselor from a small city east of Tokyo. He was not a mathematician. He was not a professor. He was not someone who had spent his career studying numbers. He was a man who had decided that memorizing pi was his life's purpose, and he had been working toward this moment for decades. Pi, written as the Greek symbol, is one of the most famous numbers in mathematics. It represents the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. It starts with 3.4159 and then continues forever, an infinite sequence of digits that never repeats, never follows a predictable pattern, and never ends. Mathematicians have calculated pi to trillions of decimal places using supercomputers. For any practical purpose in engineering or science, you need fewer than 40 digits. NASA uses just 15 decimal places to calculate interplanetary trajectories. Akira Haraguchi memorized 100,000, not because he needed to, not because anyone asked him to, but because he believed that somewhere in those endless digits, in the infinite non-repeating sequence of pi, there was meaning. He called it the religion of the universe. Before we go further, if you're finding this story as extraordinary as I do, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We find these incredible true stories every single day, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. To understand how Akira Haraguchi memorized 100,000 digits of a random number sequence, you need to understand the technique he developed, because he didn't memorize numbers, he memorized stories. Haraguchi created a system in which every digit of pi was assigned a Japanese syllable, a sound, a word, a fragment of language, and then he turned those syllables into stories. Thousands of tiny narratives, each one encoding hundreds of digits linked together into an enormous chain of interconnected memory that stretched across 100,000 numbers. He was not recalling digits, he was telling himself stories. He had been developing and refining this system since the 1970s, over 30 years of work before his 2006 record attempt. He had set unofficial records before. In 1995, he had recited 54,000 digits. In 2005, he had reached 83,431. Each time he pushed further into the infinite sequence, each time he found more stories hidden inside the numbers. The 2006 attempt took place in a public hall in Kisarazu, a city east of Tokyo. 30 members of conference hall staff monitored him in rotation. 2 local education officials were present as witnesses. Cameras recorded every moment, including every bathroom break. Because the Guinness World Records organization, which had declined to officially recognize his previous records due to insufficient documentation, requires extraordinary evidence for extraordinary claims. 100,000 digits of pi memorized and recited by a human brain is an extraordinary claim, so Haraguchi documented everything. The attempt began at 9 a.m. on October 3, 2006. He sat at a table in the public hall and began speaking. Digit after digit after digit, the witnesses listened, the cameras rolled. Every hour or two, he took 5 minutes. He ate an onigiri, a Japanese rice ball. He went to the bathroom. He returned to his seat and kept going. What is almost impossible to comprehend is not just the memorization, it is the recitation. Because knowing 100,000 digits and being able to speak them aloud in sequence for 16 consecutive hours without losing your place, without fatigue causing a single error, without the pressure of the cameras and the witnesses and the knowledge of what you are attempting, that is a different kind of feat entirely. The human brain under that kind of sustained cognitive load does extraordinary things. It also fails in extraordinary ways. A single wrong digit, one number out of sequence, one story told incorrectly would end the attempt. The verification team was checking every digit against the known sequence as Haraguchi recited it. He made no errors. At midnight, he passed the 96,000 mark. The hall was quiet. The witnesses were exhausted. Haraguchi kept speaking. At 1:28 a.m. on October 4th, he reached digit number 100,000. He stopped. The verification was completed. The footage was reviewed. The witnesses signed their statements. 100,000 digits of pi recited from memory in 16 hours and 28 minutes. Guinness World Records, despite the documentation, ultimately did not officially recognize the record, citing procedural requirements that had not been met. The official Guinness record for pi memorization is held by Rajveer Meena from India, who recited 70,000 digits while blindfolded in 2015. But Haraguchi's feat is documented, witnessed, filmed, verified by the people in that room. When asked why he had dedicated decades of his life to memorizing an infinite number, why pi, why this particular mathematical constant, why 100,000 digits of something that serves no practical purpose, Haraguchi gave an answer that said everything about who he is. He said, "I am not aiming at just memorizing figures. I am thrilled by seeking a story in pi. The same thing that most people see as a random sequence of meaningless numbers, Haraguchi sees as an infinite library of stories waiting to be read. He has since claimed the ability to recite 111,700 digits. Nobody has formally challenged that claim. Nobody has proved it wrong. Somewhere in Japan right now, a retired psychiatric counselor is probably adding more stories to his collection, more digits, more chapters in the infinite book he has been reading since the 1970s. He calls it the religion of the universe. And nobody, not mathematicians, not scientists, not the Guinness Book of World Records, has been able to tell him he's wrong. Drop a comment below. If you could memorize anything perfectly, any book, any number, any piece of music, what would it be? We cover the most mind-blowing true stories from around the world every single week. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because you will not want to miss what is coming next. See you in the next one.